Picture this. You're heading to a professional conference in a city you've never visited before. Your company has booked your accommodations, your presentations are prepared, and you're ready to network with the best in your industry. What you're not prepared for is the moment you arrive at the hotel's front desk, exhausted from travel, only to discover that somehow, through some cosmic clerical error, your room has been double-booked with a complete stranger. And to make matters worse, or perhaps better, depending on how you look at it, the hotel is completely full due to the conference, and the only solution they can offer is a room with just one bed. This is exactly the situation that Alex Chin and Jamie Taylor found themselves in at the annual Digital Marketing Summit in Chicago. Alex Chin was what many would call a natural charmer. As the marketing executive for a rising tech startup, he had a way with words that could sell eyes to penguins. With his confident smile and relaxed demeanor, Alex approached every situation, even awkward ones, with a sense of adventure. Jamie Taylor, on the other hand, was the kind of person who planned everything down to the minute. A talented graphic designer known for attention to detail, Jamie preferred structure, predictability, and most importantly, personal space. The idea of sharing accommodations with a stranger was about as appealing as presenting a half-finished project to a demanding client. Let me set the scene for you. The Lakeview Hotel in downtown Chicago was a hub of activity as marketing professionals from across the country poured in for the 3-day summit. The lobby was a sea of name badges, laptop bags, and people trying to look simultaneously professional and approachable. Alex arrived first, breezing through the check-in process until the receptionist's smile faltered slightly. "I'm sorry, Mr. Chin, but it appears there's been a mix-up with your reservation," she explained, typing furiously at her computer. "It seems we have you and another guest, Jamie Taylor, both booked in the same room." Alex shrugged, unfazed. "These things happen. Is there another room available?" The receptionist's apologetic expression deepened. "I'm afraid not. The conference has us completely booked, and we've even had to refer some guests to our sister property across town." Just as Alex was considering his options, a voice behind him asked, "Did someone say Jamie Taylor?" And there stood Jamie, slightly disheveled from travel, clutching a perfectly organized travel folder and looking increasingly alarmed as the situation became clear. The receptionist explained the situation again, offering profuse apologies and a significant discount on the room rate. "The room does have one queen-sized bed," she added hesitantly. "We can provide extra bedding if you'd like to make arrangements." And that's how Alex and Jamie found themselves riding the elevator to the 12th floor in awkward silence, both pretending to be deeply interested in the hotel information pamphlet rather than acknowledging the strange intimacy they were about to navigate. The room itself was lovely, spacious by hotel standards, with floor-to-ceiling windows offering a stunning view of Lake Michigan. But no matter how you looked at it, there was definitely just one bed dominating the center of the room. "I can sleep on the floor," Jamie offered immediately, setting down a meticulously packed suitcase. Alex laughed, breaking some of the tension. "Don't be ridiculous. That bed is huge. We're both adults, right? We can share without it being weird." He paused, then added with a grin, "Unless you kick in your sleep. That's a deal breaker for me." Jamie couldn't help but smile slightly. "I don't kick. But I should warn you, I've been told I sometimes talk about color theory in my sleep." "Well, I could probably use the education," Alex replied, and just like that, a tentative truce was formed. They agreed to some basic ground rules. Alex would take the left side of the bed, Jamie the right. A line of pillows down the middle would serve as the demilitarized zone. Bathroom time would be scheduled to avoid awkward encounters, and both agreed that what happens at the conference stays at the conference. That first evening set the tone for their unusual arrangement. After unpacking and freshening up, they decided to attend the conference welcome reception together. Safety in numbers, Jamie had reasoned, especially in a sea of networking professionals all eager to make connections. The reception was held in the hotel's grand ballroom, transformed with subtle lighting and strategically placed high-top tables to encourage mingling. Alex, in his element, seemed to know exactly how to work the room, while Jamie preferred to observe from the periphery, making calculated approaches to specific industry figures. "You know," Alex said, returning to Jamie's side with 2 glasses of wine, "we make a pretty good team. I break the ice, you follow up with the substantial conversation." Jamie accepted the wine with a nod of thanks. "Is that what we're doing? Teaming up? Why not? We're already roommates. Might as well be conference buddies, too." There was something disarming about Alex's straightforward approach that made Jamie relax slightly. "Conference associates," Jamie corrected with the hint of a smile. I'll take it, Alex laughed. Baby steps. As the evening progressed, they found themselves naturally gravitating toward each other, introducing one another to contacts they'd made and subtly rescuing each other from overly persistent networkers. By the time they returned to their room, the initial awkwardness had mellowed into something more like cautious camaraderie. The real test came at bedtime. After taking turns in the bathroom, they each approached the bed with an air of determined casualness. The pillow barrier was constructed with architectural precision, and they settled in with a careful awareness of the space between them. "Good night, conference associate," Alex said into the darkness. Jamie laughed softly. "Good night, Alex." Neither fell asleep immediately. The unfamiliar presence of another person just inches away kept them both awake, hyper-aware of every movement and sound. But eventually, fatigue won out, and they drifted off to the distant sounds of the city below. The first full day of the conference brought a packed schedule of keynote speakers, breakout sessions, and networking opportunities. At breakfast, they compared their agendas and discovered they had selected several of the same sessions. "Great minds," Alex commented, buttering a piece of toast. "Or are you just following me now?" Jamie rolled eyes but couldn't suppress a smile. "Don't flatter yourself. Some of us actually researched the speakers beforehand." "I'm wounded." Alex placed a hand over his heart dramatically. "And here I thought we were bonding." The truth was, they were bonding in their own way. Throughout the day, they found themselves exchanging glances during particularly insightful or particularly dull presentations. They saved seats for each other, shared notes, and debated the merits of different marketing approaches during coffee breaks. By the time they attended the afternoon workshop on collaborative content creation, something had shifted. When the facilitator asked everyone to pair up for an exercise, they naturally turned to each other without hesitation. The workshop task was to create a mock campaign for a fictional product. Jamie's design expertise complemented Alex's strategic thinking perfectly, and they found themselves building on each other's ideas with unexpected synergy. Their presentation to the group earned appreciative nods, and even a few business cards passed their way afterward. "We actually make a good team," Jamie admitted as they left the session. "For real, I mean." Alex bumped Jamie's shoulder lightly. "Was that a compliment? From Jamie Taylor? Should I alert the media?" "Don't push it," Jamie warned, but the smile that accompanied the words took away any sting. That evening, they opted to grab dinner together at a small Italian restaurant a few blocks from the hotel. Away from the conference environment, their conversation drifted to more personal topics: their career paths, their hometowns, their families. Alex spoke about growing up with immigrant parents who had sacrificed everything to give him opportunities. Jamie shared stories about being the artistic child in a family of practical-minded engineers. "So that's why you're so organized," Alex observed, twirling pasta around his fork. "Rebelling against your creative side?" Jamie considered this. "I don't think it's rebellion. More like balance. Creativity needs structure to be effective." "That's actually profound," Alex said, looking genuinely impressed. "And here I thought you were just a control freak." "I am a control freak," Jamie acknowledged with a laugh. "But a profound one. The wine, the comfortable atmosphere, and the relief of being away from the professional pressure created a bubble of intimacy around their table. They stayed much longer than they'd planned, sharing tiramisu and trading stories until the restaurant began to empty around them. The walk back to the hotel was quiet but comfortable, the city lights reflecting off the lake beside them. When Alex's hand accidentally brushed against Jamie's, neither pulled away immediately. It was a brief moment, perhaps meaningless, perhaps not, but it lingered in both their minds as they rode the elevator back to their room. That night, the pillow barrier remained in place, but it somehow seemed more symbolic than necessary. They talked quietly in the darkness, voices soft in the intimate space, until conversation gradually gave way to sleep. The second day of the conference brought new challenges. A major keynote speaker had canceled at the last minute, and the organizers had scrambled to fill the slot with a panel discussion on emerging trends. Alex was approached to participate, given his company's innovative approaches. Jamie watched from the audience, feeling an unexpected surge of pride as Alex charmed the crowd and offered genuinely insightful commentary. During the lunch break, they found themselves surrounded by a group of attendees who had been impressed by the panel, all eager to continue the conversation. Jamie noticed how Alex subtly included them in the discussion, drawing on their expertise and creating opportunities for them to connect with the others. "You didn't have to do that," Jamie said later, when they finally had a moment alone. Alex looked genuinely confused. "Do what?" "Include me. Make sure I was part of the conversation." Alex's expression softened. "That's what friends do, isn't it?" "Friends. The word hung between them, simple yet significant. Were they friends now? It seemed they had bypassed the usual stages of acquaintanceship and landed somewhere more meaningful, accelerated by their unusual circumstances. The afternoon brought separate sessions, and Jamie found themselves checking their phone more often than usual, half hoping to see a message from Alex. When one finally came, a simple, "This presenter could use your design skills." Desperately, Jamie couldn't help but smile. They reconnected at the evening networking event, a more casual affair with cocktails and a jazz quartet playing softly in the background. Alex had loosened his tie and rolled up his sleeves slightly, giving him a relaxed air that contrasted with the polished professionals around them. Jamie had made an effort too, changing into an outfit that was just a touch more stylish than the daytime conference wear. "You look nice," Alex said simply when they met at the bar. Jamie felt a flush of pleasure at the compliment. "Thanks. You clean up pretty well yourself." They circulated together, networking with practiced ease now, introducing each other with genuine warmth. "This is my colleague, Jamie, brilliant designer. You should see their portfolio," Alex would say. Or Jamie would mention, "You should talk to Alex about that. His company is doing innovative work in that exact area." As the evening progressed, they found themselves drifting toward a quieter corner of the room, more interested in their own conversation than in making new connections. They were standing close, laughing about something one of the speakers had said earlier, when Jamie noticed a change in Alex's expression. "What?" Jamie asked, suddenly self-conscious. Alex hesitated, then said quietly, "I'm just thinking that this conference turned out very differently than I expected." "Because of the room situation?" "Because of you," Alex replied simply. The moment stretched between them, full of possibility. Jamie was acutely aware of how close they were standing, of the warmth in Alex's eyes, of their own quickening heartbeat. But before either could act on the tension between them, they were interrupted by a colleague calling Alex's name, breaking the spell. The remainder of the evening had an undercurrent of anticipation, a sense of something unresolved. They made their excuses relatively early and headed back to their room, both claiming fatigue from the long day but both knowing there was more to it. In the elevator, they stood closer than necessary, not speaking but intensely aware of each other. The familiar journey to their floor seemed to take both an eternity and no time at all. When they reached their room, there was a moment of awkwardness as they both reached for the keycard at the same time, fingers brushing. "Sorry," they said in unison, then laughed, breaking some of the tension. Inside, they moved through their evening routines with a new awareness of each other. Jamie took longer in the bathroom than usual, heart racing with uncertainty about what might happen next. Alex sat on the edge of the bed, trying to gather thoughts that seemed determined to scatter. When Jamie finally emerged, Alex looked up with an expression that made Jamie's breath catch. "So," Alex said softly, "we should probably talk about this." Jamie sat down on the opposite side of the bed, maintaining a safe distance. "About what?" "About the fact that I'm pretty sure we're both feeling something here that goes beyond conference associates." Jamie looked down, studying the pattern on the hotel bedspread. "We barely know each other." "I disagree," Alex said, shifting to face Jamie more directly. "I think we've gotten to know each other better in 2 days than some people do in months of dating. Intensive exposure and all that." "Is that what you think this is? Dating?" Alex smiled slightly. "I think it could be, if we wanted it to be." Jamie took a deep breath, finally meeting Alex's gaze. "I don't usually do this, you know. I don't connect with people easily. Especially not like this." "Like what?" Alex asked, voice gentle but persistent. "Like feeling disappointed when you're not in the same session as me. Like watching you talk to other people and feeling jealous. Like wanting to kiss you pretty much since you made that stupid joke about the pillow barrier." Alex's smile widened. "That wasn't a stupid joke. That was charm." "Is that what you call it?" Jamie asked, but they were smiling now too. "Can I kiss you?" Alex asked suddenly, the directness characteristic of everything about them. Jamie nodded, not trusting words anymore. The first kiss was tentative, a gentle press of lips that asked a question. The second answered it with certainty. The carefully constructed pillow barrier was dismantled as they moved closer, hands finding each other in the growing darkness. Later, lying close together in the now shared bed, they talked in whispers about what this meant, about the complications of distance, Alex's company in Boston, Jamie's in Seattle, about the strangeness of finding connection in such an unexpected place. "Maybe it's not so strange," Alex mused, fingers tracing patterns on Jamie's arm. "We're both here because we're good at what we do. We probably have more in common than we realized." "Still," Jamie said, "of all the hotel rooms and all the conferences in all the world, You had to walk into mine. Alex laughed softly. Technically, it was my room too. Details, Jamie murmured, nestling closer. The final day of the conference had a bittersweet quality. Their professional obligations continued, sessions to attend, contacts to make, knowledge to absorb, but now there was an undercurrent of awareness that this bubble they'd created had a definite endpoint. By evening, they would be checking out and heading to separate airports, returning to lives that had no intersection before this week. During the closing keynote, Alex reached for Jamie's hand, intertwining their fingers beneath the cover of the table. A small gesture, but significant in its public nature, even if no one else could see. "What are we doing?" Jamie whispered, not pulling away but needing to name the uncertainty. "Right now? We're holding hands at a marketing conference. Beyond that, we're figuring it out," Alex replied, giving Jamie's hand a gentle squeeze. The conference concluded with a final networking lunch, where they found themselves approached by colleagues who had noticed their growing closeness. Some made knowing comments, others asked direct questions. They fielded these together, neither confirming nor denying anything, but the way they looked at each other said more than words could. As the event wound down and attendees began to disperse, they returned to their room to pack, the task made more complicated by frequent pauses for kisses and conversations about when they might see each other again. "My company has a satellite office in Seattle," Alex mentioned casually, folding a shirt with more care than it had probably ever received. "I could potentially arrange some meetings there next month." Jamie looked up from meticulously organizing a suitcase. "Really? You do that? For the chance to take you to dinner without a conference name badge?" "Absolutely." They exchanged phone numbers, email addresses, social media accounts, all the ways modern people stay connected across distances. They made tentative plans, acknowledging the challenges but refusing to be deterred by them. At the hotel checkout, they requested separate receipts for their respective companies but stood close together, presenting a united front to the same receptionist who had apologized for the mix-up days earlier. "I hope the accommodations worked out for you both," she said with a knowing smile. "They exceeded expectations," Alex replied, while Jamie tried not to blush. Their rideshare app showed different pickup times, Alex leaving first for a flight back to Boston, Jamie with an extra hour before heading to Seattle. They stood outside the hotel, reluctant to begin the goodbye. "So," Alex said, echoing their first awkward elevator ride, "conference associate." Jamie laughed, the sound slightly thick with emotion. "I think we've moved beyond that designation, don't you?" "Definitely," Alex agreed, pulling Jamie into an embrace that contained everything they weren't quite ready to say aloud. "Thank you for sharing the one bed." "Thank you for making me glad there was only one bed," Jamie replied. When Alex's car arrived, their kiss goodbye was both an ending and a beginning, the conclusion of their conference romance and the first moment of whatever came next. As the car pulled away, Alex waved through the window, and Jamie stood watching until it disappeared around a corner. Back home in Seattle a day later, Jamie was unpacking when the phone chimed with a message. It was a photo from Alex, a booking confirmation for a flight to Seattle, dated just 3 weeks away. The caption read simply, "Found a hotel with adequate bed arrangements. Looking forward to seeing you." Jamie smiled, typing back, "I'll clear my schedule. And just to be safe, maybe we should request a room with just one bed." Some might say it was crazy to pursue a relationship that started with a hotel booking error. Some might question the wisdom of dating someone who lived across the country. But standing in that hotel lobby in Chicago, neither Jamie nor Alex could have predicted how a simple mix-up would lead to such a perfect match. Sometimes the best connections come from the most unexpected circumstances. Sometimes you have to share a bed with a stranger to find the person who feels like home. And sometimes, just sometimes, the universe knows exactly what it's doing when it double books a hotel room. Total_char_count, 26,792.